Monday Night Raw this past week, CM Punk defended the title for the second time in 3 weeks on Monday Night Raw because he took on Braun Breaker. Then he had a week where he didn't defend the title, and the week where he did against Finn Balor. I thought it was an overall great match. They kind of broke character at the end off the air where Finn Balor, on his home turf, talked about, essentially being a good guy and being the face there. Was there any moment of this Monday Night Raw World Championship match that you thought that CM Punk's title was in jeopardy?
Not a chance. I mean, it really zero chance. Like they're not going to put the title on him and then just a few weeks later, drop the belt. I mean, I knew there was going to be false finishes. I kind of predicted that last week when we were talking about it, and there were. I mean, you saw the coup de grace hit, and some people were like, "Oh my God, he's going to win." Then Punk kicks out. You know what I mean? It was like they hit each other with their finish. And then CM Punk, I think, had to do it one more time. I think it was, and then he took Finn Balor out. I will tell you, though, it was so great to see the fans giving Finn Balor his flowers in Ireland. Like he got a hell of a ovation. There was a lot of the "Let's go Balor" CM Punk chants. Like that was cool. Like the atmosphere was really fun, and I hope we get to see more of that from Finn Balor because when Finn Balor is in the title picture, at least for me personally, it's always a good thing. I would love to see him get a second chance at it because obviously, as we all know, that first chance as the first ever Universal Champion, he had to relinquish it after an injury the night after. So, like, I want to see him in the title picture more often. I hope this gives the execs at WWE, TKO, that whole group, Triple H, like they see like, oh hey, we can't forget about Finn Balor now. He put on a hell of a show with CM Punk. So hopefully that leads to greater things for Finn Balor going forward. And now I'm curious to see what's going to happen with CM Punk. This is going to be interesting to see, how things are going to unfold for his next title match.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously wait to see, who's going to be involved in that. We kind of already talked about that before. As we're moving on towards, a Royal Rumble, which a lot of people are saying is not really that heavily promoted. There's lots of different reasons for that. I think one of those main reasons is because it's not that it's in the United States, because we've talked about that a million times. It's not the United States. It's the fact that it's someplace that is currently not a part of the on location, we got to pimp tickets package. That's where it is. If it was in London, it would probably be the same, or in Paris, it'd be the same, because when they were at Clash in Paris and all these other places, you still saw Michael Cole say, hey, get your tickets to Clash in Paris. But that's at a place where they're selling tickets for sure, but they're not promoting tickets or travel in that same regard. So it's not, it's not treated like essentially the location, right? It's the Royal Rumble. Everyone wants to get to the Royal Rumble and participate in the Royal Rumble, but nobody in the United States or Canada or most of Europe, which is their main audience, is actually going to be going to the Royal Rumble. I understand some people might travel, sure. But realistically, most people aren't going to this place, regardless of if you're in America or not in America, right? It's mostly a very small select few of people who live outside of Saudi Arabia, and mostly people who live in Saudi Arabia.
Probably green shirt guy will be there, right?
Again, this will be a good litmus test to see if he's there, because that's kind of the example. Like, most of the time, like I said, even if it's someplace I'm not going to go, there's still so many social media accounts I follow where other people are going to go. So, and WWE tailors it as such, and that's why they promote it as such. But we got Saturday night's main event coming up this Saturday. I have to say, when you talk about a poorly booked Royal Rumble or poorly promoted, I would say this also on the surface for the last year or so where they brought back the Saturday night's main event. Boy, you're coming off the John Cena retirement match. And then before that Saturday night's main event, we're crowning a new world champion. And then the Saturday nights before that was Goldberg's retirement match. Also, I think Drew and Cody for the title was on the line at that event. And then before that, John Cena, I think it was John Cena versus R-Truth world title match. So a lot of big Saturday main events coming off of, and heading into this one, I don't see one of those marquee matches so far on this card. I
do. I think Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes is money. I think that's going to be great. I think that's a good way to we go kind of, I don't know if you're going to pay it off completely, but at least get in that direction where Cody gets after Jacob for what turned out to be Cody losing the title and that whole situation. But I will say this. I think Jacob Fatu is going to beat Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event. I really think that. I I don't think Cody needs the win. I feel like I think Jacob Fatu is going to pull it out, and you're going to see a heavy push in the WrestleMania season for Jacob Fatu. And I do think Cody Rhodes might take a couple bumps here, so to speak. It is the wrestling business. That's what they're about, taking some bumps. But I think he'll take a few bumps in the win-loss column, in the L columns, so to speak. And I think he'll go to the Rumble, put out a good show there, and we'll see what happens with that, which I know we'll get to that. But I think Fatu is going to pull it out.
The poster for this event features the Fatal 4-Way to determine the new number one contender. So I'll ask you, which of these 4 people is leaving as the new number one contender? Who's going to the Royal Rumble to face Drew McIntyre for the championship?
Who do I want? Trick Williams. Who do I think is going to be? Sami Zayn. I mean, it's, I think he gets it because, let's see. Last time I checked, where is this show this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you where it is because I actually have made plans recently, last minute kind of plans. I will be going to Saturday's main event this week. It is in Montreal.
And wait, hold on. Before you continue, I figured you were going. I didn't even have to I knew that was going to happen. I knew where we were going there. But the last time I checked, I think Sami Zayn is from that region. So
he is.
He's the hometown kid.
I think that's why he's in the match. I wouldn't
100%.
necessarily give him the title or give him the win.
He's going to get a big pop. He's winning.
Okay.
He's winning. Here's the interesting part. The seeds that were planted were, what did Drew McIntyre say? It's like, for the century, essentially. Sami Zayn is against him. So why not make it 1 on the loss column for Drew McIntyre potentially?
So you're making an early prediction that Sami Zayn is going to beat Drew McIntyre. I become the new world champion.
I could see it. I think Sami Zayn, I think they got to give him his flowers. I think he needs to be the champ. And I love Drew McIntyre, but I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't be disappointed if Sami Zayn finally gets the title he's been trying to get forever, it feels like. So I think Sami Zayn is the choice. If I was booking it, I want to see Trick. I think Trick Willie is going to be pure money. I think he'll make them a lot of money on the main roster. And I think he is ready to rock and roll, but I do think Sami Zayn's taking
I think whoever goes on to the Royal Rumble, I mean, this isn't WrestleMania over here, right? Whoever goes on to the Royal Rumble, that doesn't mean they're going to win the World Championship or anything like that. I do think, because, whenever they do go over to Saudi Arabia, they like to put on some pretty big matches. And I could see Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton being a big match. Even if they run it back at WrestleMania, I could still see them wanting to put out a big match now. One thing I will say, about this event, I don't know if it's multiple reasons, and which the card itself, but versus the John Cena match, which was at the last Saturday's main event, tickets are much more affordable, very affordable actually. One of the more affordable WWE shows I've seen in a long time is this event, Saturday's main event.
How much are tickets going for?
About $50.
That's pretty good.
And they don't look like they're going, and so far they haven't sold, and that's probably why they're that price. They don't look like they're going to go for a full arena. It looks more like, I think, 8,000 range, and that's a big arena. They can fit, I think, for like Elimination Chamber, they got 16,000 plus. I mean, the building can hold 20, but I think when they had Elimination Chamber there, I mean, that was like a full house. I think they're going to go more for like the 8 range, the TV side range. One thing I will say, because I've done a little research yesterday, actually, I just did this research based on where we currently reside. If you currently live like in Texas and you're watching this, or Florida, and you're worried about, weather and it getting cold, you have no idea. But it is very cold here, and so cold here, it made me look to that place, because every time I've ever gone there, even when it's not cold here, it's cold there. I'm just going to say that when you see them do the shots, where they're doing the walk-ins off the, they get off their bus, they get out of their rental cars, and they're walking in. I can tell you that if they're not covered completely head to toe, face and all, then that's fake. And we already know it's fake, but it's not even realistic fake if like CM Punk is walking in off the street and you can see his face, because it is going to be a blistering, bone-chilling. At showtime of 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the expected temperature is to be negative 20 Fahrenheit. So
is that before or after wind chill?
I don't know. I didn't look.
But still, I mean, regardless, wind chill or not, that's pretty freaking cold.
That's as cold as it gets. That's as cold as I've probably been somewhere, but like that's the limit. If I ever say what's the coldest, if it's not that, it's it's very close to it. It's going to be. I've been up there when it's been. I don't know what it was. One time I went up there where it was painfully cold, like painfully. Like I was walking from one place to another, and my head was down. I was windy, so I had my back while I was walking, and like it hurt. It just actually hurt, kind of thing. I couldn't like get to my car or like a building quick enough. So I do know that they do have wind chill up there. So if there is wind, like I don't know before or after wind chill, you know what? Just for sake, I will do a feels like.
I am curious because, I mean, I know you've been up there multiple times. I mean, I've seen it on like different movies and stuff, and they refer to like that part of the country of Canada very cold. In particular, I know it's very cold in a lot of places up there, but Montreal is pretty darn cold, is my understanding.
Yes.
What is it? What is it saying?
Well, it's saying, like I said, the temperature is -17, 4-mile-an-hour winds. So I don't know how much that would factor into the feels like.
I mean,
can't
it'll
really.
probably, you know what? I bet you with how cold it is, it'll probably be closer to -20 then.
Yeah. So
It's not. I don't think it's like 1 degree per wind, like per mile per hour wind. But if you're adding that with that, even a little bit of wind, that's going to bring it even down probably to -20. That's.
I have to say, kudos to all these people who work on these shows, because whether it's a concert or a WWE event, when you're setting the stages up and you're essentially working outdoors, because when you're bringing in all this equipment, you don't just open the door quickly, bring the equipment in, and then stay inside. Like you open the arena up, the garage doors, all the way to the roof to bring in all these cranes and all these things from the trucks. So you're essentially, even though you're in and out of the building, you're mostly out of the building, right? You're essentially outdoors. So the people after this show is over, when it is -20 degrees, who are tasked with at 11 p.m. at night, taking the set down and loading it outside and essentially having to make sure, like I said, you are wide open to the elements because these are big equipment items that have to be taken outside.
Bundle up.
Bundle up.
Don't even wear a scarf. Do whatever you can. Yes. The only thing you need to be able to be seen is your eyes. Like cover it up. So
I don't care what my favorite wrestling shirt is at Saturday's Main Event, but we do have one other match on this card, which is as of right now, I imagine there's got to be at least one more match. And that's another thing. People complain about, 4 matches and 5 matches. We've only got 3 matches for this card. I imagine there'll be another one, but it just shows how not important that other one is, that we don't even know what it could potentially be. What do you think maybe that 4th match on this card could be that we don't even know about?
No idea.
That shows how important a feud is right now to put in right there, that we don't even know, that it's going to be something that we're not even desiring to see.
They'll probably throw like a random tag match in or something. It'll be like, Bronson Reed and what's his name there? Austin Theory.
Yeah, man.
They put them in a tag match versus a couple of luchadors again or something. Maybe they do something. They might run it back like that potentially.
We do, though, have Rio, as in Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, defending the championships, the tag belts they got pretty recently against the number 1 contenders, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. We all know they're all in the Royal Rumble, so that's not up for grabs. Do we got new women's tag team champions here?
No, not a chance. No, I think Rio is going to retain. I think they're going to go into Royal Rumble as the tag champions. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they drop it between now and then, now and WrestleMania, because I could see them turning that into a feud between those two.
I mean, yeah, Tom, I will say the women's tag team division right now is very strong. It's probably the strongest it's been since the invention of the belts.
100%.
So I will give it to that. But yeah, Saturday's Main Event this week. It is Saturday's Main Event 53, I think, or 43 in the canon of Saturday Night's Main Event. Whatever XLIII is. You're the Super Bowl person. Whatever. That's 53? Or no, 43, right?
I think it's 43. I'm not good with those Roman
XL would be 40, so I think XLII was 43. I don't know why the internet tells me it in that way. I don't think WWE actually even keeps track in that sense of which number it is, because obviously that's not advertised as such. But I do think it's probably one of the more poorly set up. It's interesting because it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first Saturday Night's Main Event since its return that's been out of the United States. So essentially, this is a show in another country where the country's primary place to watch it is on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. Because in the United States, it's still Peacock, and Peacock is like, it's hanging on for life when it comes to its connection to WWE. The library's leaving Peacock. Most of the events have left Peacock, obviously with the pay-per-views and such. And now we're starting to see that USA Network and NBC itself have separated, are not under the same umbrella. So WWE on the USA Network is not necessarily considered an NBC Universal product when it's over there anymore. So Peacock's hanging on for its life when it comes to its connection to WWE. And in the country in which this will be on, it won't even be on Peacock. So interesting to see if this event, how it delivers. Maybe, you know what? Maybe Saturday Night's Main Event, it delivers in a way that all of a sudden amps us up for Royal Rumble. And you're just like, wow, what a difference a week makes. That's what
I
we
agree.
can hope.
I hope so.
That's what we can hope. But